I'm the bad guy for making fun of someone for eating wrong. So I recently got back from a small family vacation for my cousin Abby's birthday. Abby invited his friends, including Billy. The trip was to Mexico, and Billy is one of those people who is 16% Mexican and wouldn't shut up about it. He would always get on our backs about how we were pronouncing words wrong, not understanding certain customs, and etc. It got annoying after he did it 6 times at dinner on the first night. On our last day, we had stopped for lunch at this buffet type place, and all of us had gotten tamales. If you don't know how they work, tamales are a type of food that is wrapped in a corn husk. You unwrap the corn husk, kind of like a present, and then you eat what's inside. While we were sitting down about to eat, Billy picked up his tamale and ate it with the corn husk still on. Now, something about me is that I have a very expressive face. And while we were all surprised when Billy did that, my face was probably cartoonishly shocked, and Billy noticed. He asked me what was wrong, and I kind of laughed and told him that he was supposed to unwrap the tamale. Billy told me that I had no idea what I was talking about, but Abby said that I was right. I started laughing, which I admit was kind of a bad thing to do, but I couldn't help it. Billy got mad and left, and one of our friends told me off and called me a witch because he didn't know any better and ran after him. The rest of us stayed and talked, and we all left the next day. So yesterday, Abby's sister had a birthday party, and Billy was invited. While I was there, he came up to me and kept imploring that I owe him an apology, but never said anything. He was just super passive aggressive about the whole thing. I never apologized, and one of our mutual friends came to me and said that I should just apologize. Abby said that I didn't need to, but I do kind of feel bad because I laughed at him in front of everyone. So, am I the bad guy? Am I the bad guy for telling my mom that I don't want her new boyfriend to come to our Mother's Day dinner? My girlfriend and I decided to come to our hometown, only 2 hours away, so we can take my mom out for Mother's Day. On the way down, I learned my younger brother is going to a concert in Wilmington. My older sister lives out of state, and we are no contact, so literally, my girlfriend and I, the only ones that made plans to see my mom. I texted my mom about how it'll just be the three of us and to pick out a restaurant. But she replied, "No, Rob, mom's boyfriend, is coming too. He's hurt you wanted to leave him out." For context, I don't like my mom's boyfriend. He is rude, interrupts every conversation, has very annoying kids that my mom watches while he does nothing. I've never seen him pay or attempt to do so. Whenever we are out together, and I really don't believe he's paying any bills at my mom's house. I've asked her, and she got super defensive and angry at me. He's also had 3 instances where he has said weird things to me that made me feel like he's a red flag. Mom doesn't know this. Because of this, I expressed that since it's Mother's Day and we hardly get to have alone time with her, I'd like it to just be us. She was absolutely not having it. She said she's never done this to me towards my girlfriend. However, I've been with my girlfriend for almost 3 years, and she's never said anything about how she doesn't want her around. But she's well aware that I don't like him and that my brother who lives with her doesn't like him either. She said that I'm making Mother's Day all about me when it's her day, that I'm starting drama, that she's never done this to me, that he lives there and can do this to him. I told her because I don't like him that I'm sitting in boundary, something therapy in moving out has taught me, and she got even more mad. In all, she canceled and said I'd ruined her day and that I never tried to get along with her boyfriend. So, am I the bad guy here? I'm not the bad guy for refusing to cover my co-worker's shifts after she lied about a family emergency. I'm a 26-year-old female working in a local restaurant alongside Lisa. We've been working together without any issues for about a year, but recently something happened that's making me feel like I might be the bad guy. A couple of weeks ago, Lisa approached me appearing quite distressed and asked if I could cover her shifts for a week due to a family emergency. Seeing her so upset, I immediately agreed. I wanted to help her out. I ended up working 12-hour days, and by the end of the week, I was pretty worn out but glad I could help. Then, a few days ago, I stumbled upon some photos on social media. It wasn't a family emergency. Lisa was on a vacation with her boyfriend. They seemed to be having a blast, enjoying the beach and dining in nice restaurants. I felt deceived and confronted Lisa about it when she got back. Instead of apologizing, Lisa got defensive. She said she needed a break and didn't think I'd cover for her if she told me the truth. She argued that her mental health is as important as family emergency, and she didn't technically lie because her need for a break was an emergency to her. I was pretty upset and told her I wouldn't cover her shifts in the future because I couldn't trust her. Now she's telling our coworkers that I'm not a team player and I'm overreacting. Some of my colleagues have been giving me cold shoulders, which is making me question my decision. So I'm not the bad guy for refusing to cover Lisa's shifts. Also, covered for a coworker claiming a family emergency. Later found out she was vacationing. I decided not to cover her shifts anymore, and now I'm seen as the villain at work. Am I the bad guy? Am I the bad guy for telling my brother that he needs to sell his house and give me help? My grandparents wanted to be able to leave their grandkids. My brother and I, as much as they could. They didn't have money. They had to do a reverse mortgage on their house to be able to retire at all, but they had a second house. They knew normal we will let our mother take it, especially with me being under 18 at the time. So they decided to co-own it with only my adult brother, by the intention of adding my name once I was 18. They passed when I was 16, so legally, once they died, my brother and his wife were technically the sole owners of the house. Our mom was pissed, but couldn't do anything. He didn't say anything to me about what was going to happen with the house, but I assume he was just waiting until I was 18 and would sell the house after that. Then I turned 18, and he still didn't say anything. He sent a card in cash. I called him a few weeks later and we talked about the summer. He invited me out to spend the summer with him before college. I asked him if that would interfere with moving. He laughed and asked what I was talking about. I told him, and he said that was no way any of that was going to happen because we, him, his wife's sister, and their niece, kind of living there, and it's their home. It will be crazy to sell it, and they will never be able to live in the area otherwise. I'm graduating high school and I'm planning to start college in the fall, so I'm more than kind of was continue on the money. We argued, but he never backed down. It was his house. He's been maintaining it for half a decade, and it's ridiculous to sell it. I think he needs to. It's not his house. It belongs to both of us. Our grandparents never intended to leave it to just him. He's just stealing it. I pointed this out to him, but he just says it's the way things shook out. He says it's more important that the family has stability. I pointed out that I need money for college and that the house is worth close to $1 million now at least, and my half could pay for it. He said that can't help because the money I'm talking about being owned doesn't really exist. It's just pathetical. In the long term, selling will be worse for everyone involved. He offered to let me live with him for college, but that's not good enough. He's stealing $500K from me, and I'm supposed to be okay with him letting me stay with him? This is my house too. I legally can't do anything, but I've been talking to our extended family. They think I'm in the right, but need to understand the position he's in. I don't think so. So am I the bad guy here? Am I the bad guy for wasting hobby to stay awake long enough to take baby to daycare? Okay, so there's a few layers to this. I have been with my husband for 20 years and we have 3 kids. I work full time from home, and my husband works two part time jobs, one of which is graveyard shift. And both are very physical. Some days he works both jobs the same day, sometimes not. Now, I personally feel it's important to mention that I do really all the housework, childcare, and cooking. Every time my husband gets up for work, I have to wake him up, get him mats together for him, get his clothes to work, put together, and brew out to him. Like brew and serve his coffee, find his shoes, the whole 9 yards. On the nights he works graveyard, this means staying up till he leaves at 11. And I get up at 6 to get the baby up and ready before I have to clock on 7. Because if I go lay down before he leaves, he will end up needing something else, and I'll have to get back up. On nights he doesn't work. I actually get to bed around 10:30 because I just need a hour to myself after putting the baby to bed to wind down. Now these all things I've been doing for him for as long as I can remember, and I don't even mind doing it. So most days he doesn't not work both jobs. This last week he's only worked one job a day, has slept for at least 10-12 hours. I currently average 7 hours a night of broken sleep as I suffer from pre-disturbed nightmares. So this morning he got home at about 6:30 and I had the baby ready to go by 7. But now he's saying I didn't have him ready to go early enough, so he had to take a nap. Mind you, he slept 14 hours yesterday, then worked a 6-hour shift. I was like, you can wait 30 minutes and just take him to daycare since he's ready to go. And you're currently awake. No, he needs a short nap and he's passed out and snoring. He falls asleep in like 0 seconds and just can't form it. So before I can even get a shit coming out, fine, whatever. I'll just work and watch the baby again. So I'll wake him up in an hour. And I'm like, hey, you've been asleep for an hour. He says, okay. I responded by saying he said he just needed a short nap, but he's already gone back to sleep again. Finally, he got up like another 30 minutes after that and takes him to daycare before coming back and you guess it, yeah, right back to bed. Now on days when he was working both jobs the same day or even both jobs the day before, I have no issue cutting back my already limited sleep to accommodate my husband getting as much sleep as possible. But it just seems to me that on days when he got him plenty of rest, if not days of rest, that maybe I shouldn't have to go down to 6 hours of sleep as opposed to him just starting awake an hour after he gets home to take the baby to daycare. Am I wrong? I don't even plan to confront him over it. He's very controlling, and it's not worth the fight. But I need the peace of mind, yeah. So I'm at the bad guy here. I'm at the bad guy for not letting my mom walk me down to aisle at my wedding. I'm getting married to my long-term boyfriend this summer. My dad died when I was 13. I've been missing him extra lately from all this wedding stuff. For some reason, my mom assumed that she will be walking me down to aisle and was upset when I told her she wasn't. For background, after my dad died, my mom became very cold with me and pushed me away. I was the problem child. I admit I did make her life stressful, but she also made me through my grief alone. When I was 17, she and my siblings were gonna move in with our grandma in a different state. I was about to be in my senior year, and I didn't want to leave my whole life behind, so I begged her to let me stay. My two best friends and their families took me in. Both of their moms were better moms to me than mine ever was. They're what I've always considered as my real family, so of course both of them were gonna walk me down to aisle. She's also not contributing a dime, but has been planning and organizing more things like venues, catering, or whatever else she wanted to do. I'm the first one of my siblings to have a wedding, so my mom has been all gung-ho on Facebook about it. Some of my more traditional family saying it's important that a parent walk the bride down the aisle to give her away, and that my mom deserves this for all she went through. There is nothing I hate more than old school marriage, tropes, especially the giving away the brides. So my boyfriend is walking down the aisle with his mom and sister because that's who feels closest to. I wanted my two best friends to walk me because they are my rocks and have been by my side since day one. One of their moms is officiating the wedding. My mom went ballistic on me when I said I wasn't changing my mind. She somehow convinced some members of her side of the family to not come to my wedding anymore since I'm disrespecting her. She did birth me, yeah, raise me, yeah, financially supported me, and that was a bail situation, but there's more to life than money. She says she's really hurt by this and doesn't know why I will embarrass her, and that she deserves to walk me because life is precious and she could die tomorrow. And worst of all, my dad will have wanted this. Her saying that did bring me back to conversation I had with my dad about all the things he will miss in my life. She's making me so stressed out about this, especially by bringing all the family into it. I've always resented her from my teen years, but it could also just be my clouded teenagers. So, am I the bad guy? Am I the bad guy for refusing to share cost of alcohol I did not drink? I work with Siegfried and Tristan, and we're sometimes hanging out after work as well. Tristan invited us and our partners to his home for a potluck party along with some of his non-work friends. And my partner agreed with Tristan that we will make homemade pizzas, and we made enough to feed at least 12 people. We also brought 2 bottles of wine. The next day at work, Tristan tells Siegfried and me that he wants each of us to pay him the equivalent of 2 bottles of expensive liquor he had bought for the party. I was surprised and asked him why, because it was absolutely not discussed before the party. Tristan explained that he had purchased the liquor because he wanted his guests to have a good time. But as a teetotaler, he miscalculated the amount of booze and most of the bottles are sitting unopened in his home. He promised to share this with us when we visit him next, so we will not lose our money. I did not like the idea at all, as he only told us after the party. We did not drink liquor during at all, and I considered that by bringing the pizzas and the wine we already covered more than our share. On top of that, the amount he wanted us to pay seemed ridiculously high. I asked him whether he claimed the same amount from all his guests, and he said no, just from us, because he didn't want to bother his non-work friends. Siegfried did eventually pay him, but I didn't. Because I think I'm not responsible for his bad decisions I had no say in. And if he made a mistake, it's up to him to eat the cost. Also, I found it almost insulting that he wanted us to count up a significant amount of money because he didn't want to look bad in front of his non-work friends. Both Tristan and Siegfried now think that I should have paid him and that I'm a bad guy. But am I really? Am I the bad guy for arguing with my dad and stepmom over them wanted to give me away some of my mom's stuff? I lost my mother and stepfather recently. My mother was a bit of shopaholic, and her favorite things to buy were purses and perfume. She has over 350 perfumes and a bunch of bags, many of them designer. I didn't count the bags. I inherited all of her jewelry, and my little half-brother has already laid claim to most of the perfumes. After their death, I moved in with my dad and stepmother. The whole moving process was very rushed. They died in early November, and we had to be fully moved out of the house we were renting by December. A lot of furniture got left behind, which was fine because it's not like I wanted my parents' bed frame or wardrobes that I wouldn't use. I'm upset. However, that I was rushed in picking out what art to keep. My mom loved big, extravagant piece of art. Our house was like a little gallery. She was also fond of sew work, which wasn't very fun when we were moving in, and I was doing most of the heavy lifting and carrying. My dad especially was freaked out by the whole thing and didn't like the idea of their stuff being in his house. And I'll get it. Yes, his ex wife and her husband died, and suddenly he has not only me to take care of, but my brother, who's not even related to him. I've told about how much I love my dad in the different posts, and I really do. But the whole time I just felt pressured to leaving things behind. Onto the main issue. My mother's bags are just kind of sitting in a box, and my stepmother wants to give them away to family. She has already given two away, one to her son's girlfriend, and one to, I think, her mother. We had discussed it before, and I said be okay with giving them away eventually. But my problem is that she didn't ask me first. When I learned that she had given them away, I had a breakdown and scream at her. Back out two that reminded me the most of her to keep, but I wasn't ready yet to give the rest away. She's also using my stepfather's laptop as her own. I don't know why this upsets me so much. My dad is using my mom's. They needed computers, we had computers. I guess I'm just upset that they are taking and using my parents' stuff without asking us if it's okay. It seems especially like my stepmom feels entitled to this stuff. I've argued with them over it, saying that it's not there to use and give away as they please, but they don't really pay any mind to any arguments I make. I love both of them, but they're getting on my nerves. I will accept any kind of judgment. I just need someone outside of this situation who can think clearly, because I can't. And for context, I refer to my stepdad as one of my parents because he's been in my life since I was 4. My dad is still obviously a parent, and my brother has taken to call him their mom and dad. But I don't consider my stepmom a parent or maternal figure because she came into my life when I was 12. So, am I the bad guy here?